there was the other Chinese whatever invite for Starladder. It was originally Newbie, but Newbie wondering who candidate.
Yeah, now the biggest thing to note off of that is yes, it's great and everything for LGD, but to be fair, you still need to get top 4 at the actual event itself, and that's obviously plenty of work to be done there, and not the easiest thing to do, frankly. But at the same time, they'll be going into that event, it feels like, as a hot team out of China, and that's just been the China region in general, though. I keep going back to that. 1 month it'll be VGJ Thunder, the next it'll be VG Gaming, the next it'll be Newbie, the next LGD, so maybe this is the month LGD is what it's coming down to. But
well, you better hope it's this month, because all the majors are about to start rolling in, so if there was ever a time to be on a hot streak, it is right now for sure.
5 seconds
we got this draft underway, of course, the 2 picks on either side, and I know you weren't casting last game, but it sounded like you were watching it at least, and well, we have literally the same draft as the previous game so far. So
all the way down to the Arc Warden, though, that's where my question marks might start coming.
Well,
the
there's a difference.
Arc Warden, I'm still very split on the hero. I think it's like one of the best pop stompers there is in the entire game right now. I think against uncoordinated teams, Arc Warden is probably best in class if you just want to solo carry. But in competitive, I mean, I know OG were like beating their head against the wall trying to get it to work, and it was just not really happening. And I know at TI7, like even Cloud9 toyed with it, but the hero just has been on the cusp of viability and not really breaking through the wall, unlike Dark Willow, who's like a recent introduction who is just completely busted through, though evidently is not very popular in China for some reason, because not banned and not picked.
Well, see, that's kind of funny because, again, I've been casting this event, and there's been a couple days where she's actually been the most popular hero. So this series, though, specifically, yeah, she's not being seen. You are right, not banned or picked in this case. But it is a little surprising to me that we aren't seeing her. But instead, we get the Bane response. So that's a unique hero for this series so far for Thunder.
Yeah, it's like a 5 position who probably is the best when it comes to having like the least amount of farm, because at one point there was this interpretation of Bane where it's like, okay, the only reason I'm picking is because I want combo potential, be it with like Mirana arrows or Leshrac Split Earth or something like that. But these days people are just like, you know, he has really solid stats, fairly mana independent a lot of the times, and relevant in the late game because Fiend's Grip is so good just for initial setup. Even if you don't get the full channel, and Enfeeble can oftentimes shut down a lot of physical damage carries. Because I know you had mentioned in Game 2 that there was a PA carry. So in the previous game, FY played Kanka.
15 or 16 games, so.
People are just like, you know, he has really solid stats, so I'm fairly offlane 5 remaining. And yeah, I would be okay with the Sand King.
No, why not kind of case. Leshrac, the final ban. That's a pretty unique final ban, actually, from LGD. But we have seen some games where, I don't know if it was VGJ Thunder, there was a Leshrac core earlier on, I want to say even in the group stages, that did wreck. And, you know, considered decent against a Phantom Lancer, actually, so makes sense there.
Yeah, it's the main impetus. I think it was mainly Secret that demonstrated the power of Leshrac core versus the Phantom Lancer, and then after that it just kind of became like a pocket counter pick for people. I don't know how effective it has been at like in other scenarios. I know the successes are what everyone remembers, but at the same time you could look at the matchup in a vacuum and be like, oh, you just burn all of Leshrac's mana. But
yeah,
things are constantly changing. Battle Fury PL was starting to take precedence and stuff like that, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is a Battle Fury PL, a more late game oriented PL. In the 2 SF games that VGJ Thunder played, was it like a magic damage SF, like Yule's Blink, all that business, or was it physical SF?
It was different. Both games. He started the Yules with the first game. The second game he went Shadow Blade, but even the first game he started the Yules, and then he went into a Butterfly, actually. So it was somewhat unique even from in that case. But Naga Siren, okay. So yeah, Naga's still on the board, actually. And LGD will pick up Naga. They used all their time to think about that one, and they comfortably settle with the Naga Siren. Position 4.
Shades of Newbie, but an up-and-coming 4 position regardless, and a hero that can deal fairly well with Terrorblade. The other reason that I'm not 100% sure how SF is going to build is because I think depending on how successful of an early game he has, he's going to need to equip himself to deal with Terrorblade the most. And so if you do have an exceptional start as a Shadow Fiend, then going magic damage is fantastic against Terrorblade. But if you fall behind a little bit, then you may want to fall back on going for physical, because you're allowed to keep a little bit more range as a physical damage dealing SF, whereas magic, you're blinking in basically quite literally on top of someone and trying to get a Requiem off, trying to get raises off and stuff like that. And if Terrorblade gets a head start ahead of you, then you're just going to fall victim to Sunders.
Yeah. Yeah. Sylar going the Dragon Knight with the final pick, or I guess Faye technically drafting it, but Sylar will be playing the DK with that final pick, of course. Needed that mid option. And, I was thinking of maybe something like a Viper, actually, for them, but they choose to go DK, and I think it's a mix of comfort as well for them. More objective-based, definitely. But drafts are set, so... it's a 2-0 lead for LGD. They're the ones with the momentum and everything. But if you were to take away the teams, I mean, do you like either draft Tyrus and Omni, or is it pretty even, you think?
I think LGD's Omni Knight is going to be a huge deciding factor. I feel like Thunder almost kind of forgot about the Omni to an extent. Because, like, Terrorblade, DK, these heroes desperately need to deal physical damage. And I see Guardian Angel being incredibly effective this game. Because Batrider Lasso comes out, not only will you be able to repel a target if Omni Knight is in the vicinity, but if you directly want to lasso the Omni Knight, then you have to worry about Naga Siren's Song. And so there's so much counter initiation that LGD have all the time in the world to get their Omni Knight into position, get the Naga Siren to disengage stuff, that I think the cores of Thunder are going to struggle to deal damage.
And Chalice has actually played Omni Knight both of the first 2 games and played it very well, so it's going to be his 3rd game on the hero, so safe to say, it's kind of fresh in his mind already as far as how to play at that top-tier level against a team like VGJ Thunder with it. And on the other side, you do have Tusk, of course, being played for the 3rd game in a row, back to Comfort Factor, and by Fade here. It's understandable because Tusk is a great position for hero. But that's kind of been the consistency factor so far here in the series. But we will have a pause to start things off, so a little more strat talk here.
Yeah, and you did mention that in the earlier 2 games, SF kind of had a semi-versatile build, and it looks like Chalice did also on this Omni Knight, because after you mentioned that, the first thing I did was just like, okay, well, what kind of items did he go for? And one of the games he went for Pipe BKB,
yeah.
And in another game he goes for 4-Staff Ether Lens. So this is one of the reasons why I enjoy China the most. I think out of all regions, China, and I'd probably say maybe CIS is a close second, are probably the most willing to mix up item builds with their heroes. And it doesn't have to be dependent on like, oh, I'm playing this role, I always have to build this item because I'm always playing this hero.
Yeah.
It's definitely the most adaptive that I have noticed in regions.
Yeah, no, I would agree there. We've seen some willingness to play quite a bit differently and definitely make their own choices, not necessarily follow that meta, that mold that we're used to seeing on so many heroes. But we have seen the Terrorblade again now all 3 games as well, and obviously one on either side, and now VGJ Thunder going in back-to-back games. And the consistent build for him, though, has been that S and a Y, at least earlier on, into a BKB, it feels like. So perhaps going to be the same case here, although, BKB this game for him, it I don't know if it feels as necessary. I mean, you're still dealing with a Witch Doctor, that's annoying. But other than that, it's not like you're going to be avoiding a lot with a BKB. So is BKB really a high priority, you think, for the Radiant side, or is it not necessarily that big of a deal?
Again, I think it'll be dependent on what SF chooses to build. If SF wants to go magic, I think you may have to, because there's also not an exceptional amount of burst damage on the side of Thunder. And so, like I said, if you get to disengage as LGD, if you get to put out a song and then maybe ensnare some BKB targets, then you may end up setting yourself up for disaster if you want to go for spell immunity. But if that SF does go magic build, then you probably are just like, well, whatever, I'll just save the BKB for whenever SF finally enters the fight and mitigate all that potential damage. Yeah. So a lot of cat and mouse I'm expecting.
All right. Maybe going to be thinking the landing phase as well. So I'll have to see once again the pause wears off here.
All right, so let's see what Ahmed likes to build on Lancer. He hasn't played the hero in a while, actually. So I'm not seeing any Battle Furies, and I'm happy to see that, because I was watching Dream League earlier, and I believe it was Fnatic versus... I don't remember who it was. I think it was day before yesterday, but whatever the case... well, actually, maybe it was yesterday. I think it was against Newbie. But Abed built Diffusal Blade first and just completely ran down all these heroes because the enemy carry ended up going for like a minus or something. And so there was like this understanding, I suppose, from the enemy team that was just like, well, it's a Phantom Lancer, so obviously it's going to be a Battle Fury builder, so obviously he's going to jungle and farm for a while. But no, Abed went for Diffusal Blade, and like the way that the enemy team was reacting to it, it was like almost as if they forgot how Diffusal PL worked, because they just kept re-engaging, and I was just like, you know, PL doesn't really care about this. This is what he wants. He's going to whittle down all of your mana, but this new paradigm of PL kind of shifted people's interpretations.
Yeah. No, yeah, Diffusal PL, it's definitely a still dominating thing on the hero, and I think that's what it comes down to, really the pace of the game and how it feels. You know, if the other side looks like they're being more greedy with their farm, then yeah, perhaps the Diffusal is the obvious choice, but wouldn't be surprised to see either way in the end coming out from Ame right here. Again, going to be on the tempo of the game, definitely.
Although, the one exotic thing he does, he seems to very frequently get Blink Dagger on PL.
Okay.
And that must be an Ame special, because that's something that I do not see very typically on Phantom Lancer.
It's one of those, yeah, it almost seems like it's kind of a player preference style, where we'll see heroes like even like a Death Prophet comes to mind, where, you know, off the top of your head,
I love China Death Prophet.
Yeah, you don't think it's necessarily an item to see, but it on any hero, Blink's going to be good, right? Like the fact that the mobility that it brings, there's going to be potential for it. So it's never like a bad item choice. It's just, again, kind of a preference thing what you want to engage with. So
yeah, and I can see why professional players are so trend oriented a lot of the times when it does come to new builds emerging, because like I was watching a CIS game, it was Na'Vi versus an open qualifier team that they lost to, and Dendi was playing Death Prophet, and I had seen so much Blink Hood DP that I saw him pick up this Yules, and it was just like a completely different style of Death Prophet that I was just not used to seeing in a long time, and it was kind of falling apart, because I was just like, you know, if he had a Blink Hood, this could be like a lot easier, but it's, like you said, very player-oriented and team-oriented, because if you go for a heavy initiating Phantom Lancer, and your team is expecting you to be a sit-back and anti-mage Phantom Lancer, then you need to be on the same page, otherwise team fights are going to be pure chaos.
Yeah. Not sure what's going on here. We've seen multiple players on either side just constantly DCing. So we were having those coordinator issues yesterday. I'm kind of hoping that it's not the case today, so hasn't been an issue at least so far.
This has been a long day for LGD. They had that 2-0 against IG. Now they're doing BO5.
Yeah, it's been a long. There's a lot of grinding going on for many teams right now, man. We're in that phase where we have all these qualifiers. It feels like, you know, every couple of months, this for like a couple 2-3 week period, that's just the grind, and then the lands start kicking in again. So we're definitely in the qualifier grind right now. And actually, speaking of that, there's that whole Madness qualifier going on. And
that's right.
It's the semifinals actually are starting right now, I believe. Both of them. And again, I still can't believe they're best of one, each of them. God.
I know. It's madness.
It is madness.
Unsurprisingly, it's a bunch of teams who are close to the region that the server was played on.
Yeah, exactly. That's not the most surprising, considering, like I said, the whole Madness qualifier game. We've shown the commercial many of times, but in case you're unaware, it's basically the last chance qualifier where literally any team can sign up from all over the world. However, the default rule is it's always going to be played on a European server. So, obviously, teams are at a disadvantage from other regions, but that's just how they decided to go about it. And the idea is that any team can sign up. It's best of one, though, single elimination tournament. And it started yesterday, actually. And honestly, it was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch. And I feel like a lot of the teams, even the teams that have gotten knocked out, like they enjoyed doing it as well. It was fun to be a part of it. So I kind of hope that it maybe, I don't want to see it maybe like every event by any means, but to see it every now and then would be kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely a very clever gimmick.
Yeah. And so actually speaking of that too, the teams are Team Kingwin versus Going In, which is kind of form of Penta. You got Oliver, Weehaw, Boogie, DNZ, and RMN. And then you have Vega Squadron versus Fly to the Moon, which is actually a CIS team that with many relevant players, Silent, Iceberg, No Fear, Always Want to Fly.
Yeah, they're like partially ex-Team Spirit and then like some other random CS squads. Fly to the Moon has actually been doing fairly well. There's a couple of CIS qualifiers going on that they are either in semifinals or finals for, and usually it's been up against Vegas Squadron. In fact, even I thought in the CIS qualifier for this region, in the CIS qualifier for this region, Flight of Moon was in the finals. They lost to Empire. And so they were just like, well, let's get a second chance in BO1s then, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy, whichever one of those teams. But how about Vegas Squadron, though? Their journey was, they had to defeat the Final Tribe, I think it was, in one round, and then EG, of course, most notably, they took out EG. So that's they're looking good on their way there. But again, best of one goes back to really anything can happen at this point, especially. So
this is the last region to be decided, it looks like.
Yeah,
this is it. In the Madness qualifier. Okay.
This is
what I'm talking about.
So what? We got VP, Liquid, Secret, Newbie, all direct invites. Na'Vi, direct invite as well. And then OG qualified for Europe, not really surprising there. As mentioned before, Empire qualified for CIS, coming out against Flight of Moon. Man, that would have been crazy. Basically like an unsigned team going to a major.
Yeah.
If Flight of Moon won. And then Complexity, taking it for NA. Was that before Kyle?
Oh, yeah. No, it was a while ago. Yeah, it was like 2 months ago almost, I feel like. So, yeah, it definitely was.
February 16th. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, this was the game they 3-2. They beat EG in the grand finals. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I cast
Unfortunately, no DPC points for them, even if they do well.
Yeah, well, still money. Still plenty of money.
Still money. In fact, their roster isn't even, like, settled yet, so who are they going to take to Epicenter?
They've been running with Kitrack as their fifth now. So I don't. There's nothing official. They haven't officially announced anything. So I think they're kind of just trying him out right now. But yeah, he's the one that's looking like the candidate at least to go to
Can't think of him many free agent fives, right?
Yeah, we're talking about it on my my new podcast show that I brought back.
Yeah?
Speaking of that, that's cool topic.
Called what now?
Called the Dota Procast. That's what we're calling it.
And
now.
Where can I find it?
Well, you can find it. You actually, if you go to breakycpk.com, it's pretty simple.
breakycpk.com, eh?
I'll link it to my episode there. One. So yeah, you can talk. We talk some competitive Dota. So there you go, weekly podcast show. Anyways, we talked about it on there, and a couple of names that came to mind. You have like a Demon, for example. He's played with Complexity before, and he has some leadership experience. So there's him. There's 1437 possibly. I've heard that he actually might have a team now, or he's coaching maybe. So I don't know about that. But yeah, there's really not many names for good reason, of course.
Yeah, there's Saksha also, but no one really knows if that stack that was made with him and Anna and Schwan and Forever, whatever, is still actually happening, Echo International or whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
These emotes. Good old Dota Plus.
Man, I just signed up for Dota Plus just for the Battle Cup, because I told my stack, I was just like, listen, I'm only going to sign up for Dota Plus if we're going to do at least 3 weeks of Battle Cup, because, we're starting. Yeah, and so ended up working out. Won me some North American Battle Cup, gonna get me some emotes, got 20,000 shards. Easiest $5 of my life.
Nice self-brag. $4, man. $3.99.
I thought it was $4.99.
No, it's $3.99 for the 1 month.
Oh my gosh, what a bargain!
What a deal!
And now I can finally look at the win percentage thing.
Yeah,
I was so jealous.
Honestly,
every single cast, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could see the win percentage right now.
I got Dota Plus. I literally haven't played a game since then. I've just been casting games. So it's good for that. Like you said, with the win percentage, you got the death recap you can still look at. So.
Yeah, the death recap's another thing, because there was some game that I was casting that some hero got stunned for ages, and I was like, how did they get stunned so long? And then I was like, why doesn't the game just tell me it's naturally
pay to win? Yeah.
VGJ Thunder, they want to put some stun time on someone.
Jealous. He's in trouble? Kinda. I mean, he has plenty of backup, so yeah, they're not going to run in the uphill and fight that. Instead, going to back up. Chalice is actually at them, almost scaring them backwards, but we got a big clash here. Tusk, he's the one that's getting low. Spirit Lance connects, and that should be a first blood for the Dire team. Nova gets credit. What a start for LGD. It seemed like VGJ Thunder was in the advantage initially, but not so much.
Yeah, Freeze did not want to commit to skilling anything. Reflection or Metamorphosis may have helped. Reflection maybe not so much, unless if your team was about to kill someone else, and understandably he didn't want to spend meta and then have it be on cooldown for 3 minutes and then not have it for the laning phase, which it does look like it's going to be a mid TB up against the Shadow Fiend, so he desperately needs the Metamorphosis whenever it's up.
Oh, wow, yeah, we all in that pause there, we wasn't even aware. Freeze is playing Terrorblade, okay. Sylar on his DK, but how about that decision? So setting Terrorblade middle lane, DK is going to be in the safe lane as a result. Yeah, so he's down here. Is this like a matchup that's preferred, you think, or?
I think they knew that DK didn't need any help, and they're just going to have EDC sit here mid all day long, and he took Enfeeble at 1. It's infuriating. As it is, SF already struggles for damage.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, he has, what, like 20 damage? 18 damage, pretty much.
And you see him right-clicking Bane right there. It's like Bane doesn't even care. Might as well not, but...
Yeah, as it is, Bane already has pretty exceptional armor. He has 5 armor right out of the base, and so, yeah, FY has come by to help reduce some of that armor with Riptide, but DDC does not care. His job is just to make sure SF has a bad time.
Now, they know Phantom Lancer did not have Doppelganger at level 1 because of that first blood, so they're trying to take advantage, but 8 stacks of the sticky napalm, but he's going to get away.
The way I see it is 9 stacks of wand charges.
That's true.
10 stacks.
Current potential.
Nova.
He's
kind of in trouble.
No, he's dead. Maybe. Nope. Nice wand use. Keeping him alive for the time being. He's going to survive for now. Fade running at him. Taking some good tower damage. Turn kill most likely. Snowball in the face of Amado. There's that wand use. So 1-for-1 so far. Doppelganger leveled up at level 2. Going for the turn kill on Yang. He'll fall first. Yang tower damage. The South pop. He'll be fine.
Immediate TP mid from Fade as well. He wants to do something else.
Somnus at half-life. Out comes the Tuts Ice Shards. Double raise lands. DDC will go down. He got the kill first on Shadow Fiend, though. At least Freeze did, and with that Metamorphosis form, FY just walking away.
Huh. I'm surprised they didn't go for another Snowball. Freeze could have salved up, and with Metamorphosis, they may have been able to do it. Now Raze cancels the salve.
This is chaos here in the middle lane.
Shards is up.
They're going for it now. The Shard's back up as mentioned, and sure enough, easy kill on FY. Sleep on a Shadow Fiend.
This I don't know about. SF's raises.
Metamorphosis still has that. Somnus, can he go for a turn like he talked about? No.